All right, here's the video for notes 3-2, graphing with tables. So we're going to be graphing exponential functions. And here's our function f of x equals 1/2 times 2 to the x power minus 3. So when we plug this stuff in, we're going to be plugging in these x values here. I'm just going to show the work off to the side. So it's going to be 1/2 times 2 to the negative 2 minus 3. So I don't expect you to do this in your calculator. But I do expect that you are able to put this in your, I don't expect that you're able to do this in your head, but I do expect that you are able to do this in a calculator. So it's going to be 1/2 parentheses 2. To get to the an exponent, you press this button, and then it's negative 2, and then minus 3. So for that first value, it's going to be negative 2.875. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but now at the exponent, we're going to plug in negative 1. So I'm not going to rewrite it just because it's a little redundant. So now we're going to plug in negative 1. And what we can do in the Desmos calculator is we can actually just change this. Let's see. To negative 1. Oops, I didn't mean to delete all that. Let's see, minus 3. So now we have negative 2.75. Okay, now we're going to plug in 0 as the exponent. So again, we could just change this to a 0. That's negative 2.5. Oops, and I actually don't need to be pressing enter each time. And then we're going to change this to 1. That's going to be negative 2. And now we're going to plug in 2. That's negative 1. And now we're going to plug in 3. We get 1. So now we can plot these points. So starting at negative 2, we have negative 2.875, which is almost negative 3. So 1, 2, 3. So maybe that might be right here. Then we have negative 1. Negative 2.75, so a little bit higher. And then we have negative 2.5, then we have negative 2. And then at 2, we have negative 1. And at 3, we have 1. So we can see here that we have our exponential function that goes, it's going to continue going up forever. All right, so now let's look at our second example here. So we have 2 parentheses 1/2 to the x power. So now we're going to plug in negative 2. So I'm just going to write out the first one. 2 parentheses 1/2 to the negative 2 power. So we're going to type that in. 2 parentheses. To do a fraction, we do this, 1/2. And then to get the exponent, we press this button, and then we're going to do negative 2. We get 8. So this first value is 8. Now we're going to change this exponent, and we're going to plug in negative 1. So going here, we're going to change this to negative 1. We get 4. Now we're going to change the exponent to 0. We get 2. Now we're going to change the exponent to 1. We get 1. Now we're going to change the exponent to 2. We get 0.5. And lastly, we're going to change that exponent to 3.25. So now we can go ahead and graph this one. So at negative 2, we're at 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 1, we're at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, we're at 2. We have 1, 1, 2.5, and 2.25. So it looks like we're going to get really close to the x-axis, but not quite touch the x-axis. So something along these lines. All right, so now let's take a look at one of the problems from the homework here. So we're graphing the function 1/2 to the x power plus 2. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in -2 to our exponent right here. So I'm just going to do this in the calculator. So we have 1/2 to the x power. So we're going to plug in -2. And then we're going to add 2. So our first y value is going to be 6. So now we're just going to change our exponent. So now we're going to plug in -1. We get 4. Now I'm going to plug in 0. We get 3. Now I'm going to plug in 1. We get 2.5. Plug in 2. 2.25. And now we're going to plug in 3. 2.125. So as we can see here, it looks like we're decreasing and we're getting closer and closer and closer to 2. So let's go ahead and graph this. So at -2, we're at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. Then at -1, we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. At 0, we have 3. At 1, we have 2.5. 2, 2.25. 3, and then 2.125. So as we can see here, we have a decreasing function, and it looks like we're going to get really close to 2, but never quite touch 2. Don't forget to draw your arrows at both ends because we know that this function can continue on forever in both directions.